Hi, everybody. I know it's been so long since I have sat down to do a podcast, and I'm sorry, not sorry. I've been going through a lot. I am officially in adulthood right now. So yeah, I've just been adjusting to life. I graduated almost 2 months ago. That's like actually crazy. But welcome to the first episode of IDK If I Told You, but I'm navigating July. So, this short little podcast series, if you're not aware, is me just talking about the things that make the month of July a little complicated for me. So, I've dealt with passings, I have dealt with grief, I've dealt with loss, I have dealt with heartbreak, I have dealt with hitting rock bottom in the month of July. So, we're going to talk about that in this entire series of navigating July. So, yeah, I'm very, very excited. Also, I'm going to try my very best to do weekly episodes of this. It's weird sitting in front of my laptop recording an episode of IDK If I Told You. Also, I am no longer going to be in the original IDK Crew studio. That is another update. We are officially moved back home. We are in the basement of my childhood home. So I'm going to try to make this space like cute and like jazz it up a little. So so yeah, stay tuned because this background might be changing a little bit. So yeah. But anyways, so, this first episode is going to be learning to navigate grief and loss. So, like I said, July is a difficult month because I've dealt with a lot, but this first episode is going to be about losing two people in my life that made a huge impact, which were my great grandmother, who I lost on July 4th, and not of this year, but of 2018, I believe. And then I lost my grandfather July 24th of 2014. So I was very young when I lost my grandpa, and then I lost my great grandmother 4 years later. So yeah, it's very difficult in the exact same month, which I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? Today's episode is going to be about coping with loss, remembering your loved ones, and how to pick up the pieces and move forward and adjust to this new life without your loved one. So, first and foremost, I want to start off with memories of my grandfather and my great grandmother. So, I'm going to start off with my great grandma. The majority of my life, she lived in Florida. So, I didn't really know her until she came to live here. I do have some amazing memories with her. She was always caring. She was so kind. I remember one time I told her that I got a new bicycle and she was like, "Eryn, do you have a helmet?" And my mom was like, "Just lie, just lie. Like, don't tell her like you don't have a helmet." And I'm like, "Yes, grandma. Yes, I have a helmet." And she was like, "Okay, good, good. I'm so glad you have a helmet." And I'll never forget that. She was also like the biggest fan of chocolate cake, which if anybody knows me, like every single birthday, I have to have a chocolate cake with chocolate frosting and like the actual chocolate cake. So, like, my great grandmother and I, we were literally twins in that aspect. And yeah, like, she was just like my favorite for that. Like, I will always remember that. And I love that. I'm like, with emphasis, grandma. Like, I love you. I love you so much for that. My grandfather, I think of him like my second dad. He was always at every single dance recital I had, every single music concert. He was always in the crowd cheering for me, like, "That's my granddaughter. Like, look at her. She's like a spitfire. She's amazing." And I'm not just making that up. I'm like so serious. He was just so genuinely proud of me and everything that I had to do. And yeah, we would always go to Denny's after sleepovers. He would always take me to Denny's for breakfast, and he would read his newspaper while I got my breakfast and my chocolate milk. and he would read his newspaper and he would get his meal and his coffee. And yeah, it was just like something I'll always remember in my heart of how we we have Denny's to share together. So yeah, and I still go to Denny's to this day with my parents, and like every time I'm like at Denny's, I think of him and it just like makes me kind of emo. But loss does change you. It really does. And it changes your perspective on your loved ones and your life and on your family. I appreciate the moments now where I get to spend with both of my grandmothers. I am always asking them about like their life, like their childhood, or how things were when they were kids or in their adult years or in their teens and whatnot, because like I genuinely want to get that close bond with them and I want to remember them and I want to know about their lives. I also Funny enough, I also like sometimes record interactions I have, or like I record stories that they've shared so that I can like listen to it anytime. And also, when I eventually have children, I want my children to listen to their great grandmothers and to know like this is what I listened to when I was a child or a teenager or even now in my 20s. Like this is what I went through, and these are the stories that I was told, and I want them to know those stories as well, carrying on those traditions. And I just value family so much more now that I've had family members that have passed away. But it's okay that certain anniversaries or certain months for any person brings back that grief, brings back the loss and the pain, because that's that's normal. Those were the people that you loved so dearly, and it's okay to feel those emotions. It's okay to cry. It's okay to need your personal space. It's okay to go off social media. If it's by telling stories and laughing and using humor, great. If it's by talking it out with somebody, great. It's okay that everybody has their different ways of healing. I thought they were going to be at specific milestones in my life. Like, for example, I really wish that my grandfather was at all of my graduations. He didn't get to see me graduate high school. He didn't get to see me graduate and walk the stage when I got my associates or even my bachelor's degree just 2 months ago. It's hard. And same with my great grandmother. She wasn't there for any of those milestones. It's hard. And I always get so jealous that like my cousins or like some of my other friends or like people that I know had their great grandparents or their grandparents at their wedding or at their graduations and whatnot. And it just makes me so jealous that like I didn't get to have that time, like all that time with them. But but I will always, always cherish the memories that I do have with them, and I can't feel that way. Like, yeah, it's normal to feel that way, but like, I need to stop that from happening because, like, everything happens for a reason, and it's okay. And I value and cherish the pictures that I have, even though there's not many. I do cherish that, and I wish that I had more of that. And so now when I'm hanging out with my both of my grandmothers or even with my parents, I always make sure to snap a picture or to, like I said, record those stories or whatever the case is, because I want to always cherish and remember those memories that I've had in my past. And I also want to share them with my future family. So yeah. Also, grief can show up in a lot of different ways. Like for me, certain songs, like, they trigger like a certain memory. Like, for example, when my grandfather was in the hospital, I had danced to a One Direction song. And every time I hear it, I'm like, I can't listen to it because it gets me like so emotional. So I just like can't. Like, it's just like really hard for me. But sometimes I push through that and do like exposure therapy so that, like, because I want to feel the feelings. It's okay to feel the feelings. But, like I said, grief looks different for every single person. Everybody deals with it differently, and that is a-okay. Healing isn't about forgetting about your loved ones. It's about learning to carry the love and memories with you forever. They're always in your heart. For me, whenever I see a butterfly, I think of my great grandmother. Whenever I see a cardinal, I think of my grandfather. Specifically the cardinal thing because my grandfather absolutely loved the St. Louis Cardinals, the baseball team. So every time I see a cardinal, I think of him and I get a little emotional. So yeah. But it's okay to feel happiness and sadness at the same time when you're going through this grief. Like sometimes I think about like a happy memory with my grandpa and it's like so happy and it's funny or whatever the case is, and then I get sad about it because like I can't go back to that, you know? Like, I wish I could press rewind and go back to that time in my life and to, like, truly appreciate the moments that I had with them, like, with my grandfather and my great-grandmother before I knew it was their time to leave this earth. If anybody is feeling this way, it's completely normal. It is completely normal. You are okay. You will be okay. And, you know, I know it's hard to just pick up the pieces and just move on with your life, but you know what? Like, everybody goes through it and you don't have to just move on. It's not, you don't move on from grief like that, you know? You adjust to a new normal. And I'm going to be talking about that in later episodes as well because I'm going to be talking about like breakups and whatnot. Make sure you cherish the moments that you do have with the family that is still around. Hug your parents and your grandparents, your aunts, your uncles, your cousins, your siblings. Call them on this device, you know, on a cell phone, on a phone, you know, call them. Don't text, call. You know, hearing that voice is just, it's so important. And I know like a lot of grandparents like phone calls. Both of my grandparents love phone calls. So I always make sure to call them whenever I have something important going on in my life. I want to tell them. And you know what? It's just so nice hearing that excitement over the phone and hearing their voices. Or even like spending time with them and hanging out with them is always nice too. Give yourself grace, give yourself time. There's no timeline for this healing journey that you are on when you lose a loved one. Tell people you love how much they mean to you. Seriously, it is so important. And also just take time to heal. If journaling helps you heal, do that. If you need a therapist, go and get yourself a therapist. Join a group, a grieving group, and you know, like a bereavement group. Join one of those. You know, those are always helpful. I know people that have been to those. So if that is something you want to do it. Talk to your friends, talk to your family. It is okay to be feeling these feelings. It's okay. And you will eventually be, I don't want to say okay because, like, honestly, I still feel that hurt from both passings. But like I said earlier, you will adjust to that new normal. Okay. It's also okay to feel guilt about like how you treated somebody before they passed away. I feel guilt about not being so present, like in the moments. Like, of course, I was a child, but still, like, I wish I had asked my grandparents about their childhoods, about how their upbringing was, what things were like when they were in their 20s, the best years of your life, you know? You know what I mean? So it's okay to feel that guilt, but you can't hold that forever. Okay? You can't hold that forever. So just allow yourself to feel all of your feelings, and it's okay. And I'm sending all of you love and hugs. I am so happy to be back to IDK if I told you. These episodes I'm gonna try to make shorter. I know this is a little bit long, but I wanted to give my I don't knowers an update on what is happening, what's going on in my life, and yeah, so thank you so much for watching this new podcast series called IDK If I Told You. I'm navigating July. So we're navigating life 1 month, one conversation at a time. I'll see you next time for our next episode of Navigating July. I'm sending all of you love and hugs during this month and any month that brings you pain. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Love you, I don't knowers. Bye.